Lovely cool morning. First Sunday in October. The heat broke a couple days ago, and I've been out trying to tidy up the bloomed out stuff in my yard. But I'm not going to be doing that this morning, I think, because the rain is just starting. I was just out here a minute or two ago, and it wasn't raining, and now it is. Let's see, can you see the rain spots on top of my trash bin? Yep, just starting. Okay, so I have this nice little rocker, so I'm not off my rocker. I'm sitting here under my covered porch, which is unfortunately peeling and in need of repair, but you know, it's still okay. The roof is okay, the underside of the roof isn't. So, excuse me. So I'm going to tell a little story this morning, and that's one of the reasons I'm out here. I think the rabbit left. No, I think I can still see the rabbit. See there at the base of that tree, between the tree and the flower pot, you can kind of see an outline that I think is the rabbit. There's a bunch of rabbits around here. There's a bunch of squirrels. The man across the street there has an oak tree, which means acorns. The man across the street on that side has a pecan tree, which squirrels like to bury these things in my garden, and then I have to either dig or pay someone to dig to get rid of them. Otherwise, this would be a solid mass of trees and mosquitoes. The city doesn't like when the place is a solid mass of vegetation, and I don't like when it's a solid mass of mosquitoes. So anyway, the story is this. One morning I came out several years ago now when I was more active, and I looked over that way and around here somewhere. Again, the vegetation was less at that time. I looked over that way and I saw this strange looking thing that I wasn't sure was a rabbit or a squirrel. And I got a little bit closer. It didn't seem to be too shy. And it looked for all the world like a cross between a rabbit and a squirrel. Oh, there goes the rabbit. See the rabbit? Now you can tell from a distance that's a rabbit. You can see the outline. You can see the ears. But this thing that I saw didn't have big ears. It had head and ears like a squirrel, but it didn't have a big bushy tail. And its back end was a lot bigger than its front end, if you get my drift, more like a rabbit. So I'm thinking, okay, well now this is impossible. I studied biology. I actually have a degree in animal science from a good school, Cornell University. And they let me out the front door, you know, with a degree. So I did take some classes. As a matter of fact, I started taking biology in high school. That was back like 50 years ago. It was a lot simpler then. You know, Gregor Mendel and his peas and dominant and recessive genes and independent assortment of characteristics, no blending of inheritance. Well, I knew that some part of that wasn't really as simple as they were saying because my mother had very dark brown eyes. My father had very much blue eyes. And when I looked in the mirror, well, first of all, my brother had very dark brown eyes like my mother. But when I looked in the mirror, my eyes were, well, I call them brown, but a very light brown. Someone might call them amber, especially if they looked up close and saw that they're actually made up of two rings, an outer sort of browner ring. Oh, here comes another rabbit. Whoa, two rabbits chasing each other. Hey, we're in for a special treat this morning. I wonder if that's a buck and a doe, maybe. I don't know. This isn't really the right season for rabbits to breed, but do rabbits know that? Anyway, so, yeah, I have an outer ring of a sort of very light brown and an inner ring of amber. So it didn't seem like anybody independently assorted in my family. Although I wasn't completely separate from the family, my eyes were the same color as my maternal grandmother's. Her two sisters that I knew well and saw often had green eyes. Not like lime green, but more like olive green. So anyway, yeah, the story of the scorbut. And so I thought, well, I didn't really see it well, and that's just, you know, me having some kind of strangeness. But another day, a few days later, I came out and I saw it again. And I thought, well, no, that definitely looks like a scorbut. And then the topper of the whole thing was, see, there are some trees I can see from here. Yes, I'm going to go out in the rain, but I want to take a picture of the tree. Okay. See, I can see some trees from here quite clearly. I mean, it's very easy. Hey, there's the rabbit. The rabbits here are kind of semi-tame. I couldn't go up to one and pick one up, but they just sort of don't care whether I'm here or not. So there's trees over there, and before my white cedar bushes grew up, I had a lot of places in the yard where I could see those from. So I'm gonna go back under the porch roof now because I don't really want to get my head wet. Okay. I actually don't mind getting my head wet, but I don't want to get it wet to the point where it starts dripping. Okay, so that tree that I was just looking at, well, the tree, I was just glanced over at it because I saw motion, and there was this thing, which can't be a scorbut, hopping up the tree. Now, if you're familiar with rabbits and squirrels, rabbits can't move their back legs independently. They can move their front legs independently, but if they want to move kind of slowly while they're eating something, they walk their front legs and stretch themselves out, and then they hop their back legs up. But squirrels can walk in a normal kind of way. Their back legs are kind of spread out, more suited for tree climbing, but they definitely do walk, and they walk up trees. But this guy was hopping up the tree. I mean, it was going hop, 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 hop up the tree. So, yeah, this was several years ago. I haven't seen them again. I think there might have been two, because I saw one over here, and then I saw one on the tree, and I don't know if there was enough time for them to get there. So there might have been a whole litter of scorbuts around here. I used to have more vegetation. This whole thing here between the bricks and the cedar bushes, that was 2 flower beds with a path in between. One of them was all strawberries and the other one was all perennials. So there was a lot of cover for rabbits to stick their babies in. That's why some of these are tame, because they actually were born and grew up around my ankles. So, yeah, so there we go. You know, what was that all about? Because they're totally different species, absolutely cannot breed together. I know this. They have different numbers of chromosomes. They can't breed together. But I thought that was what I saw. Didn't catch one and take it to a DNA lab. No, I have no proof of what I saw. But it, you know, there it is, tickling the back of my mind from time to time. Especially lately when they're talking about human species, Denisovans, Neanderthals, modern humans, who's descended from who, and who's in whose family tree, and who's hiding in the family bushes, and all that kind of thing. And I always had a problem with the two things that can't breed together because their chromosomes don't line up, because if you follow Darwinian policy, then all these species have different numbers of chromosomes. There had to be, to go from one species to another, to evolve, there had to be a day when something was born that had a different number of chromosomes, in which case, what did it find to mate with and produce a line that had a divergent species? So this is all kind of things that I puzzle over. Yeah, okay. So it's getting to rain a little bit harder now, and my knees are starting to get wet. And I've also been talking for much too long. This is going to take forever to upload. Okay, but it's nice out here. Birds are around, rabbits are around, all sorts of things. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.